Hey, in today's video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why this Henry Steel lever action 360 Buckhammer side load rifle is ideal for deer hunting in woods just like these. I hope you'll stick around because I'll share a couple of adventures I've had with this gun. Hi, George here, and welcome to Tales from Target Suite, where I'll share my perspective on guns and shooting, and we will have an adventure or two that will make even a grown man smile. And I want to thank Henry right up front for sending this guy over. I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun to shoot. It's my first centerfire Henry lever action rifle, and I like it. Let's take a close look. Well, I think the guy was being a little bit silly talking about how the gun looks mattering when you get out in the field, but it is a handsome rifle. And I bet he did look good when he harvested those 2 deer a couple of weeks ago with this gun. He's going to talk a little bit about that, show a few pictures, if you'll stick around. But there it is, the Henry H009G-360BH. Actually, I had to read it off of the tang. So it is a good-looking rifle. I love the checkering, the walnut stock, the dark blue finish. And reason number 2 that it's ideally suited for these woods is because it is a lever-action rifle. It is notoriously quick to get back on target for a second shot. Not that I've ever had a second shot in the woods, but if you need to, you can really cycle through your rounds in a hurry. And if I need to get out to 150 or maybe a little bit farther as far as yardage goes, if I've got a good rest and the conditions are right, then the 360 Buckhammer can reach out that far. So it's ideally suited for those woods. Let me reposition these old knees. Okay, and speaking of 360 Buckhammer, I'm going to say that's the 3rd reason why this gun is ideally suited. Let's let the other guy talk a little bit about that cartridge and why we should all at least embrace its existence. You may not get one, but let's talk about why it's a great cartridge. Oh yes, the 360 Buckhammer has caused quite a stir. To some it's good, to some not so, but there is a reason for it, and it has to do with those states in the Midwest that have very unusual cartridge restrictions. And I've got the 30-30 right here next to me. You can see the difference between the 30-30 and the 360 Buckhammer. The 30-30 case is longer, so that case is too long for many of those states in the Midwest. And it also has a bottleneck case. In other words, the case body is necked down to the diameter of the bullet. And so in those states in the Midwest, there's 4 or 5 of them. You probably have seen a lot online about it. The traditional 35 Remington, 30-30, 32 Winchester Special, even the 38-55, 444 Marlin cannot be used in those states because they're either too long, the brass is too long, or they have a bottleneck. So 360 Buckhammer has really found, is really a great design for those brothers and sisters up there who like to hunt with a lever gun, but they can't get a full-size cartridge. They can only shoot pistol calibers. I'm probably oversimplifying this argument, but there is a place for the 360 Buckhammer. I know, I get the argument. It might hurt the 35 Remington long term, but I'm sure glad our brothers and sisters up north have a cartridge rifle combination that they can use, lever gun cartridge rifle combination that is as effective as the 360 Buckhammer. And so even if you don't live in one of those northern states, the 360 Buckhammer is a great option. Your other choices are 30-30 as far as full-size traditional deer cartridges. You've got the 30-30, the 35 Remington, which is, I think, only being produced right now by Henry, maybe. And of course 45-70 and then older cartridges as well. But as far as a traditional deer cartridge, I would say the 360 Buckhammer would be a fantastic choice. I think it's going to be a hit, and it was very effective on the 2 deer that I shot, and I would declare it to be a really good less than 200 yard cartridge. So 360 Buckhammer, raised a lot of feathers, ruffled a lot of feathers, but I think it's a great cartridge. In my experience, it's very effective, and the numbers say it is equivalent, even a little bit superior to the 35 Remington. So if you like the 35 Remington, the 360 Buckhammer is going to kick a little more and give you about another 100 feet per second velocity out of the 200 grain bullet. And by the way, in case you're wondering, this is a 35 Remington, and it shoots exactly the same bullet as the 360 Buckhammer. It is a 200 grain Remington core locked bullet. So if you like the 35 Remington and its performance, the 360 Buckhammer will match that, and to some a small measure exceed the performance of the 35 Remington. Great cartridge. Now let's get back to that other guy. Number 3, that was it. The 360 Buckhammer, man, it is going to help a lot of guys and girls up in the Midwest where they do have those restrictive gun laws. And so I'm thankful that Henry and Remington worked together to come up with this package. It'll really bless those folks up there. Number 4, it is fun to shoot and a great shooter. Let's take a look at that. Well, it is a fun gun to shoot, but there's one thing I wanted to point out, and that is that there have been a couple of different rounds here in this box of ammo that had a different color primer. Makes me wonder about that. But anyway, I think it's a fun gun. I have put a lot of rounds. I put a lot of rounds downrange with this gun. I put a couple of shots on deer, and I have had zero problems whatsoever with the Henry steel lever action 360 Buckhammer side load. Let's do some more shooting. Ton of fun, and as you can see, it shoots pretty well. In fact, I'll play a little bit of footage here. I did shoot from the bench back up there. I shot several groups, but these are the 2 at 100 yards that I shot, and that 100-yard target is right here. That's from the old range. So basically 2-inch groups at 200 yards. Not bad for a lever gun, especially one that shoots a big old heavy bullet like the 360 Buckhammer. Anyway, let's get back to that other guy over there. Let him finish up before his knees give out. By the way, I decided to shoot some more ammo before we get back to that other guy and his bad knees. All right, here we go. I really want to shoot those pumpkins, but I'm reserving those for a short form video I'm going to make with the 360 Buckhammer versus the 35 Remington. We're going to shoot it into those 2 pumpkins and let you guys decide which cartridge has the most giddy up. That's coming up soon. All right, let's give that guy with the bad knees a break. So who's not going to love a lever gun? Well, some of you maybe, but anyway, this one is a lot of fun to shoot. And one thing I have learned about the Henry rifles that I have shot so far, if you've seen the content on the 22 mag and the 17 HMR, they were smooth, and this guy here was smooth. In fact, my son picked it up and cycled the lever, and he was like, wow, that really is smooth. So Henry does a great job on the inside. And I did an experiment. and I'll show it to you right now. I cycled a bunch of rounds through here, and actually I cycled 5 rounds through here multiple times. Let's take a close look and see how boogered up they are after going through, in and out, time after time. See how boogered up they are. Maybe not at all. And don't forget, I am going to talk about those 2 adventures. 2 deer that I harvested this year with this rifle. I wish I could say that one of them was the one who wreaked havoc on this cypress tree, but that is not the case. Now, reason number 5, and it's a cosmetic, we'll call it a cosmetic ergonomic reason, is that it does have, number 1, I'm going to roll a couple of things in here, it does have a butt pad. And the 360 Buckhammer, it's about 120 feet per second faster with the Remington core-locked 120 grain loads. And the other thing, which I have learned to appreciate, is this a tube load. I would actually call it a tube unload, because I don't load through that. But when I come home in the evening and I need to unload, it's easy to take the tube out, shake out all the rounds, put the tube back in, cycle out the last round here, and then you're good for the evening. So nice additions to an overall great lever action package. Easy to swing in the woods, fun gun, appropriate historical design. And now let's talk about those 2 deer. And the first one that I took, I'm not going to show you a whole lot of pictures here because I didn't do any video. Let me reposition just a minute. His knees are getting too old to squat for this long. But anyway, I didn't do any video. I'm just not, just haven't yet. And very few pictures. We were too excited, too tired for a whole lot of content. But I'll tell you, the first one that I shot was of a 1.5-year old spike, and horns about this long, and he should have had longer horns than that. So we wanted some meat to get started on our jerky and venison collection for the year, and I decided to take him out of the gene pool. And he was quartering away. The shot went in behind the ribs on this side, and we recovered the bullet between the skin and the shoulder. It had passed through ribs here and the shoulder blade, and we recovered it, and there it is. And it retained 170 grains of mass after going through probably 20 inches of deer and 2 layers of bone. So he didn't go very far. He was a challenge to clean because of the angle, but that's what he gave me, and so I wanted to take that shot. And the second deer that I shot was one that we call Gimp. Now, I want to say I'm not one to normally name deer that we find on game camera, but this guy, it was appropriate because he had been hit by a car, probably most likely. Hit by a car in the springtime. And why do I say that? Well, it's because his antlers were deformed, and you can see right here that he's got, actually one of them is broken on one side, so he tried to do a little fighting, and he had some gouge marks on his side. So an aggressive older deer, but he did have a broken rear leg. His left leg was broken right above the knee, it looked like. And so he was broadside, took the top of his heart off. He just ran a couple of yards and fell over. So the core-lock bullet did its work well, admirably in both cases. We didn't recover that second bullet, even though we had looked long and hard with a metal detector. We just couldn't find that bullet in the dirt. And as I was in an elevated stand, we thought it would be easy to find, but it just wasn't. Anyway, great gun from Henry. Again, thanks for sending this over. Thanks, guys and girls, for sticking with me. I know my content hasn't been as frequent as in the past, but we're still here and we're still coming, and got more lever action rifle content as well as other things. And if I ever find out who did this, I'll share it with you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.